Hello, everyone. Father Hoffa here with your next installment of the Wednesday Wonder. So, a lot of times, people, when especially they come to weddings, they find themselves really just enthralled of what we believe and teach as Catholics when it comes to love and relationship. And as we're sort of doing this series on marriage, and a lot of times questions come up about this, one of the things I was thinking about was back to my time in high school work, where the kids would come in and they would be so brokenhearted about a relationship that ended up and, oh, this was the person that I was going to marry. And I said, no, it's not the person you're going to marry. Although there was a very high rate of that when I was at Allentown Central Catholic, that high school sweethearts or people who knew one another from high school wound up getting married later on. And many of them have wonderful families today. So they did sort of, buck the norm or the percentage or the system or whatever the case may be. But I think, one of the big things that I would ask them is, like, how long were you friends with this person before you started being official or dating? Or now the kids have all kinds of different terms and they're talking and that they're not official, and until it, gets stated here, this, that, whatever. But the basis of the question was, how long were you friends before things took it to the next level? And they would say, well, we weren't. And I would say, well, there's your first problem. Because philos, that friendship love, that just basic relational love is the basis. A real thought in terms of how relationships are supposed to go, especially dating relationships for our younger people, is that if they have a solid friendship and then it progresses into a more exclusive relationship, if that isn't working in healthy bounds, they should be able to revert back to a relationship of just friendship. Now, again, I'm not being idealistic in saying that should happen every time and that it's a perfect world. I know that it's not. However, in truth, if the basis is there, you should be able to return to something that was good when you tried to progress to something that didn't work out for the good. And so that is very important. So one of the big first pieces of relationship is friendship love that's experienced in friendship. And it's good to have that love and to acknowledge that love just between friends. Then it progresses. So we would say that the next level of love would be eros. Now, again, some people might have disagreement with me over, they would say, well, no, eros is just this sort of paganistic, passion, based love. But passion is a part of our humanity. Passion can go one of two ways. It can go in a good direction or a bad direction. If we let our passions go in the wrong direction, we know that we can find ourselves in sin. But if we let our passions drive us in a good direction, again, a passion for God, a passion to be united with our Creator, a passion for the other, in relationship, that means that we are starting to go into that phase of not just being comfortable or happy with the relational aspect of being around another, but now I'm passionate about the good of the other, because a beautiful definition of love is to will the good of the other. So if I'm passionate about the good of the other, now I'm even growing in greater love for and with that person. And of course, then that leads us to the greatest level of love, which is agape. And that is sacrificial love. It is the love that we find in Jesus on the cross. And that beautiful gift of love that we witness in Christ is something that is meant to be shared with other people. And so as we have this Wednesday Wonder and you're thinking about, what are relationships supposed to look like? That's exactly it. We're supposed to have when it is an exclusive relationship, it's supposed to have those building blocks that starts with the friendship love, and a love that then becomes passionate for the good of the other person, and then ultimately blooms in a self-sacrificing love, which is the heart of marital love, and it's the heart of vocational love. And so I hope that is some good news for you today, something that you may have been wondering about what does the church teach about love, and maybe to share with someone who is wondering, why do all my relationships keep going wrong? Well, maybe they're built off of the wrong things. In this hookup culture in which we live, in this sort of insta relationship culture that we live, maybe people are moving things way too fast. I always said, Father Hoffa's guidance to the young was be friends for 6 months at least before things get exclusive. And for some people, I say, oh my God, that's a lifetime, that's an eternity. But it might actually start you off to a really good relationship. This has been your next installation of the Wednesday Wonder. God bless and have a great day.